I'm your astrologer, and I'm here to talk to you about the Pisces New Moon, which occurs on March the 2nd. This is such a miraculous, beautiful, palpable, spiritual magnification of energy occurring during this new lunar cycle. The sun and the moon will be conjoined at 12 degrees of Pisces, and they will also be in a conjunction to Jupiter, which is transiting its home of ancient domicile. Jupiter is at 14 degrees of Pisces. Jupiter was the ruler of Pisces before Neptune was discovered, and also Neptune is still transiting Pisces at 22 degrees. So here we have both the ancient and modern rulers of the Pisces realm, along with both of our luminaries, the sun and the moon, magnifying this very expansive, benevolent, optimistic, compassionate, spiritual, intuitive energy. Pisces is the sign of our interconnectedness to source energy, to that realm beyond the physical world. It is a water element. It's where our instincts tune into the subtleties of spirit, and all of this has been greatly magnified. It's our dream states. It's where we go when we leave the conscious mind and step into that life beyond the conscious realm. It is the place where we feel connected to that part of our own divinity. And this is a new lunation where we are planting the seeds for that spiritual expansion to blossom on the full moon, which occurs in Virgo in 2 weeks on the 18th. And yes, this is a very outward, connective, compassionate, creative, divinely inspired lunation with this miraculous energy of Jupiter and Neptune together here, which hasn't occurred for over 150 years. But I just wanted to kind of give my personal take on how this spiritual expansion is taking place, and that is inward. You know, this energy is all collapsing down inward in this final season of the final house in the final sign, and preparing us for the emergence in April, when the sun moves into Aries and we start that hero's journey again. And symbolically, this is a time of completion and intention setting, preparing for the new, planting those seeds. The reason this feels like it's very condensed down into a powerful personal intention setting time is the background energy in effect, and that is our personal planets, Mercury, Mars, and Venus. Our personal planets are in very intense, strong, powerful positions during this new moon. So the biggest aspect, really only aspect that this moon makes, is in a sextile to Uranus in Taurus. Uranus is at 11 degrees of Taurus, where the North Node is. 11 degrees of Taurus. Uranus is that rebel, radical awakener, allowing us to see with our higher consciousness, to tap into our higher mind, to see the future, and to make the necessary shift from that place of comfortability, from that place of grounded practicality where we may have been stuck. And Uranus wants us to take a new approach to fulfillment, to embodying all of the natural pleasures, all of the fulfillment, all of our physical desires and senses that are represented by Taurus, to really acclimate towards that over the next year and a half until July of 2023. And so there is this very supportive, radical shift energy from this sextile of the new moon to Uranus and Taurus. The other conjunctions that are happening during this new moon is that Mars and Venus, the masculine, the feminine, the yin, the yang, the cosmic lovers, our personal planets, we all have masculine and feminine energy within us. They are doing this very long 2-month dance, which is pretty rare, doesn't happen that often. Mars is a 2-year cycle, and Venus typically meets up with Mars for about 2 weeks every 2 years. However, Venus just finished a retrograde in the sign of Capricorn, where they are still together, tightly conjoined to Pluto. So what we have is Mars and Venus conjoined. Venus is at 26 degrees, approaching 27 degrees, where Pluto is, where Mars is. And so here are our personal planets on this point of Pluto, where Pluto sits at the point of the U.S. Pluto return, that completion cycle, that almost 250-year cycle of Pluto. And it's very symbolic to me that we experienced the outer planets moving through this Capricorn area in 2020. And now Jupiter has moved on into Pisces, and Saturn is in Aquarius, and Pluto in the next 2 years is preparing to move into Aquarius and start some new future power in a new way, in an innovative way, in that air energy, like Saturn and Jupiter have done. And so here come our personal planets. It's come from this macro, outward, collective, societal collapse, transformation, dismantling, and now our personal planets are at play. We're bringing it down to the internal. What is our relationship with money, with power, with our own balanced energies of the masculine and feminine? And Pluto is at that place in Capricorn that is symbolically rewriting our relationships. Mars and Venus, our divine counterparts, the way they've always operated in that Capricorn energy, the structures, the automatic loops, the programming, the indoctrination. Pluto intensifies this ability to align with our values, Venus, and put into action, Mars, and release the past that no longer supports us, to rewrite the very structure of how we operate in intimate relationship, whether it's an intimate relationship to money, whether it's an intimate relationship to a divine counterpart, a romantic relationship, but how we structure that moving forward into the future. If every structure of our outward life is changing, then certainly in order to shift into that, we have to restructure it and adjust and create something new from a personal level. We can't take our old personal habits, beliefs, routines, loops into the future when everything else outwardly is changing. And I believe that this is a lunation where that becomes crystal clear, where something is ending, an old cycle of that Mars Venus energy on top of this very powerful Pluto. They will not be conjoined like this for this length of time for a very long time, almost 250 years, you know, that Pluto cycle in the sign of Capricorn. And so we are rewriting our personal lives, just like as the outer planets move through this point, we were rewriting our outer structures of our society. And so this is a wonderful time to release, finally release any of those old patterns, any of those old belief systems that have been conditioned into us that no longer align with our values. And a time to operate in authenticity, in our personal strength, in our own self-worth. And the other personal planet, which is kind of moved ahead of Mars and Venus, is Mercury. Mercury, our conscious mind, our ability to receive thoughts and communicate them. Mercury just finished a retrograde in Capricorn and now has moved into Aquarius. And Mercury is conjoined to Saturn, the Lord of Karma, the structures, the ruler of Capricorn, and the ancient ruler of Aquarius. So Saturn is very comfortable here. Mercury conjoined to Saturn, exact, I think it's 18 degrees at the time of this new moon, really gives us a serious mindset on the new story that we are creating for our future. This is where we commit to following through on our new story of mastering our own mindset, our own beliefs, our own conscious ability to create something in a different way. And then right after this new moon on the 2nd, Venus and Mars move across Pluto conjoin Pluto, move past Pluto, and then on the 5th, 6th of March, what happens is these cosmic lovers, our masculine and feminine planets, hit the 0-degree point of Aquarius, where Jupiter and Saturn had the great conjunction in 2020. So the outer planets moved across this point, leaving the old paradigm of Capricorn, the old indoctrination, structures, systems, contracts, rules, regulations, authority of the past. They moved and hit at 0 degrees of Aquarius in March of 2020. And now here come Venus and Mars hitting that 0-degree mark, ready to move into that air element, out of that dense earth energy, to make a intellectual, mental, advanced thinking, higher conscious shift, right? And even though Mars is the planet of action, this is a time to plant the seeds. That's what we put into action, right? The formulation, the plan is still being clarified now that Mercury has moved out of retrograde. And so by the time we get through the end of March and into April, much more clarity will come. And it's also very significant that Mars and Venus, these two in this long dance, now moving out of Capricorn, out of this conjunction with Pluto and into Aquarius at that 0-degree mark, are the rulers of the nodal axis. North node in Taurus, ruled by Venus. South node in Scorpio, ruled by Mars. Mars and Pluto are the rulers of Scorpio. And so Mars and Venus are really activating, I believe, that nodal axis of what do I have, what do we share, what's mine that's of value, how can I remain in my alignment with my own authenticity and still take action to share myself collectively, to create community, to have a co-creative mindset without losing my own individuality. And this sextile to Uranus in Taurus allows our higher consciousness to have those epiphany moments, to have those breakthrough energies where we can tap into that place that is ready to shift, that is ready to do it differently, knowing that the old is done. It will not support us in the future. And so these are how our personal planets are at play in the background during this new moon. It feels very personal. This spiritual expansion starts within. We finish up, we let go of, and we move past and release, thanks to Pluto, in our personal power into that Aquarian energy, into that collective mindset, only when we are in our place of our own transformation, releasing that old paradigm that has kept us restricted, right? So it starts personal. Not until this is finished can we move forward in a collective creative process. And I feel like this is an intense energy of a personal spiritual expansion, a personal spiritual awakening, a personal transformation of power in what is of value, in alignment with our own self-worth. And so I just wanted to give you that perspective and let you know that I wish you all many, many new moon blessings, and take the time to tune in to where you can be by the water, or create a sacred space, or have a time of meditation or prayer where you can really access that spiritual vibration, that source energy, because it is so expansive right now and it is readily available. And that is how we are held in this process. That is our strength to move through the letting go of the old and transitioning, planting the seeds for the new, is that access to our divine spiritual energy that is available. So many new moon blessings. If I can be of service to any of you and take a look at these things in your chart, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you so much.